Their own kids accidentally helped me get petty revenge against my sills, by user mixing things c-shirt. I was a semi-professional baker when I met hubby. Not because I tried to be but because every weekend friends or family would pay me to make cakes, pies, cookies. My specialties are cheesecakes and cakes with surprises in them. After moving to his hometown, right before our first Christmas here, I had already gotten all the ingredients for a Christmas cake that was all of our favorite and was telling his sisters how excited I was to make this cake and how the farmer I found had some of the best fruits I'd ever seen. They told me not to bother and they'd get store-bought. They do this with a lot of things. Only with me though, if one of their friends offers to bring the same thing they've already turned me down for, it would be rude to refuse. Y'all, the bought cake was rock hard and awful. The kids literally made fun of it and asked if we could saw it into bricks to make a bread brick house. Fast forward a few years and my husband bragged about my baking to so many people that my semi-pro kitchen in back to rolling along. We watch my Sills kids and they bake with me sometimes. We still always get the same store-bought Christmas cake for the family get-together. No one eats it. Yesterday the family was together for a situation regarding my parents-in-law, so we decided to hash out the Christmas plans. We're hosting, so I said I would take care of all the food and they can bring dessert. The oldest kid kicked up immediately complaining why we have to get that awful cake every year and why couldn't I make something for dessert too. My husband responded immediately telling kiddo that her mom and aunt prefer the cake from the store. Kiddo looked at her mom, then her aunt, then her mom, back to my husband and said, well, they can't even cook, they shouldn't get to pick what we have to eat, but I shut her down and said that they really like that cake and that we needed to respect the traditions that make them feel more at home. My true petty revenge is planting the seed of anti-exclusionary traditionalism in their offspring, but I'm making that kid whatever cake she wants next time we watch her for that wicked burn. Downstairs neighbor threatens me, so I remind them it's not a good idea to pick a fight with someone who controls your ceiling space, by user Dragon Spirit Animal. So I'm on my balcony in an apartment doing a 10 minutes craft project and my downstairs neighbor storms out 2 minutes into some light hammering on my part at 6 p.m. to yell obscenities, threaten to beat my ass, and end with threatening to call cops. I yelled back a few times I'd only be a minute, but she was just not reasoning with me. So when I wrapped up I moved my subwoofer to the floor, adjusted some innocent settings, and played Corpse at a very reasonable volume. Whole floor is vibrating until quiet hours every day until I'm done laughing at my own joke. Tomorrow I'll be going to the office to turn them in for smoking on their porch and throwing cigarette butts where people, including me, walk their dogs, poisoning hazard after all, and the smoke gets in my house. I haven't said anything because I'm not a narc, but don't start no thing won't be no thing. Beep your horn at me. Welcome to Aggravation Town, by user Chom Pitampi. I walked out of my bank's building into a crammed parking lot that is always full. Getting a spot in it is just luck. As I opened the door to my car I saw a guy in a truck pull in the north entrance. I was parked just about midline between the north and south entrances. I had a few things to take care of before I intended to leave. I no sooner started my car when I heard honk. In my peripheral vision I see the truck that pulled in sitting stationary about 5 feet before my parking spot. I ignore. Hoo-hoo-ko, here we go, I thought to myself. I never budged. After the third set of honks in under a minute I decided I was digging in. Just as I was about to get stubborn I see a little Toyota pull in the south entrance and turn down my lane. I immediately reversed out and squeezed, on an angle, between the truck's front end and the other parking spaces opposite of mine. This gave the truck nowhere to go. I waved the OL gal into my parking spot. She had to come in on an angle, so it took her a couple attempts to straighten out her car in my old spot. All the while MR in the truck was losing his shit. The elderly lady got out of her car and started to walk across in front of me toward the bank. I could hear truck driver yelling over the hoo-hunks. She approached my window, thanked me and made comment about anger issue guy. I laughed and told her to have a nice day. As she straightened up from leaning into my window I see the arthritic hand raise the middle finger as she shoved her fist into the air in the general direction of Mr. Honky Truck. Glorious. Edit, didn't want anyone losing their shit. Ruined Dumbledore's death plot twist, by user Survivor of Chaos. My stepmother and I had a contentious relationship, truly living up to the fairytale tropes. As an abused child who was terrified of retribution if I spoke or acted out of line, I always behaved as best I could. Until The Half-Blood Prince was released. I'm an avid reader and can read a book faster than most I know. My husband calls it one of my autistic superpowers. I love the Harry Potter series, as does my stepmother. So teenage me took great delight in reading the book the same day it was released, then gleefully calling my stepmom to blurt out Dumbledore dies. I let it sink in for a few minutes then call back. When my biological father answers and tells me how upset she is, I tell him I need to apologize to her. He hands the phone over, and I yell out and Snape is the one who killed him before hanging up again. That was literally the last time I spoke to her. I've since cut all ties with her and my biological father, but I still have a small amount of smug satisfaction in knowing that I ruined her day as my last-ditch, final, and only act of rebellion. Maybe don't hide my fucking shoes, by user brilliant_fun473. This happened when I was 6. I had a cousin, who we will call Nicky, who was 5, and he was staying with us for the weekend. We were going to go to watch Frozen, as it had just come out in theaters. And when I was ready, I could not find my shoes, because Nicky decided to hide them. Me and my dad spent 20 minutes tearing up the house, and couldn't find them. Nicky then revealed that he put them in the bottom of the laundry hamper to mess with me, and we arrived at the movie late. I wasn't going to let this slide. My cousin was very obsessed with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I mean obsessed. Specifically Donatello. He had a Donatello figure that he was very attached to, and would freak out if he didn't know where it was. We had a house rule that we were not allowed to bring any toys into the bathroom, so he left the figure in the living room when he went to go to the bathroom. I instantly had the idea to snatch Donatello and put him in the back of the freezer. When he got back, he obviously started to cry. We, save for me, helped him search for it for 4 hours, and he was going to leave soon. My dad was doing everything in his power to calm him down, while I was grinning on the inside. I then decided that I had my fun and pulled the figurine out of the freezer, and he went home. I got grounded afterwards. To this day, I am very proud of myself for doing this.